Hey there, nerds. Jimmy here. I'm. Oh wait, we're not doing zombies. God damn it! This is what happens when people don't pay attention. So we could do that because there is Red Harvest, which is zombie storyline within Star Wars.
Oh god, that's terrifying. Did it go interplanetary?
This is how nerdy I am. I know this and nobody else does. Anyway,
But did it go interplanetary?
it was just a book, dude. Chill out.
I just want to make sure the
No,
zombie
it
virus
was-
didn't go interplanetary.
We're here to talk about Star Wars. This is the point where Jimmy edits the window coming across. The white, star white, just to me. Anywho. So there's been some recent updates. They've talked about Rey,
Oh, Skywalker.
Daisy Ridley, collecting mad cash to make a trilogy.
Yeah. No matter what you think about her as an actress or her in the sequel trilogy or her as a person or whatever, I'm excited to see her come back because as much as I forget the title already, but as much as Episode 9 was a little bit of a dumpster fire, I do want Rey Skywalker to have a chance to be a better fleshed out character because there is a lot of potential there. And I say this as a Nintendo nerd. Yeah, I want Star Wars to have a Samus type. Like, that would be awesome to me.
So what we're learning is that Rey, it's going to be what they say is a change of direction, and I hope I'm taking that is that they've learned from their mistakes, and they're going to actually have a outline for all three movies.
I don't know.
But she's going to start a new order. So we're going to have a new Jedi Order, and it's going to be an older Rey. She's got her power. She knows how to do it and all that. So we're going to basically be starting this universe over. I'm excited because everybody's like, oh yeah, the Skywalker saga is over. I'm excited that we're getting more of the Skywalker saga, as in Rey Skywalker.
Exactly.
I'm excited for this. We have had a long period now with 0 movies, and that's on Disney because they screwed it up.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm hoping they learn from their lesson. But on the flip side, I read an article that when George Lucas sold Lucasfilm for, what was it, $4.5 billion or something like that, the current valuation is somewhere up in the $60 billion. So I believe, I'm not good at math, but I believe that's a net positive return.
I never guessed. Wow.
Yeah. So despite their critical failures, they're obviously doing well financially. And I think they're understanding this is the fan base. This is who we need to pander to. This is what we need to do. We've learned a lot from the TV shows. This is what we need to do. Having Rey Skywalker storyline is great. Jettisoning some of the other ones, I forgot his name, but the creators that worked on Game of Thrones, that started strong, but then really farted at the end. Their movie deal is gone with. They've recently talked about it, and I have no qualms about kicking into the curb. Good riddance.
I didn't even have to watch Game of Thrones.
I am excited, honestly, to see if Rian Johnson, Last Jedi, if he is going to still continue on with his story. And I'm always curious to see what the hell Taika Waititi is going to do with his Star Wars story. But what I like is that we're talking more Star Wars and that we're getting more Star Wars. One of the things which is like serving up a softball pitch for a home run is that the next season of Mandalorian is going to be a movie. This disappoints me on one hand because if it was a series and we got 10 episodes, that's like a 10-hour movie. Awesome. Obviously, if it's going to be a movie, we're at like 2.5 hours at most. So if that means we have a tight story, which is great, fine. I'll bite the bullet and get 7 hours less of my Mandalorian Grogu story. But we're going to get this in theaters, which is pretty badass. And hopefully it then becomes even bigger with whatever they're trying to tell. That would be amazing. Where we're going with Star Wars after that, we really don't know. They're still trying to figure it out. Still putting directors attached with projects, still getting stories together. But I really, really hope they've learned their lesson from the second trilogy that they just finished recently, which they didn't know what they were doing.
And I would like to amend a statement you made, which was pandering to the fans. I don't think they've really ever pandered to the fans, so to speak, especially with George Lucas at the helm, because he couldn't give two shits. I think, in my opinion, a better way to say it, maybe you did mean they literally are pandering to the fans. My understanding is that it's like they're now realizing it's like, hey, we should plan this out and actually have a concrete idea of what we're doing and keep somebody on the entire time so we're not flip-flopping constantly on what the creative direction is supposed to be. Episode 7, 8, and 9 are, well, 7 is great. I think it's a decent Star Wars movie. I think 8 is a decent Star Wars movie. 9 is a dumpster fire because you had someone come on for 7 and then you booted them and you had someone else come on for 8 and they took it in a different direction, which still worked. And then you had the same person come back on for 9 who took it in another different direction and you just destroyed everything. So I have a good feeling that whoever the hell is in charge of this Star Wars stuff will at least bring someone on to make sure we don't get that kind of whiplash, director creative, just mind flip. Please, Disney, don't do that again.
Well, I think that's what they've learned is that they had this excitement where they did out of the gate. They announced J.J. Abrams, Ryan Johnson, and Colin Trevorrow doing that trilogy. Colin got the boot. They got stuck in a lurch, especially with Carrie Fisher passing away. And that's where they begged J.J. Abrams to come back on. And there really wasn't a good way to finish that story because the third one was supposedly going to be a focus on Princess Leia or General Organa, whoever you want to talk about. But when she passed away, they could not do that. So they really had to, at the last minute, figure out what they were going to do and how they were going to do it. So that being said, yeah, it's weak. But I think they've learned their lesson. Hopefully we've got this outline and we can really move forward with coherent stories, but then also with like Taika Waititi, who's going to do a crazy whatever he's going to do that has nothing to do with any story we've ever seen before.
I hope we get like a political thriller from him in the Star Wars world. That would be so funny.
Well, we've kind of seen that with like Andor. That would be awesome.
Oh my God, yes.
And I think they've done a fantastic job with that. Season 2 of that just wrapped, so I'm excited to see where they go with that. I really hope we get Ahsoka too, because I want to see what happens to those characters. They left us in the lurch, but luckily now with Dave Filoni in charge, we'll get more of that, and maybe that'll go to a movie. But I think Lucasfilm is learning. I think that's why they put the brakes on the movies, and they really, in my opinion, have perfected the storytelling they've done on the Disney Plus series. Even the Book of Boba Fett, I know people think, oh, that was the weakest one, and it might be, but it was still fun.
Decent.
Remember, these literally were made for kids. And so now that we're adults and we don't think like kids that much anymore, you still have kids watching this stuff. So you need to really make everybody happy and recruit the kids to get into this universe.
And hardcore Star Wars fans, I know, it sucks to watch something you grew up with get ruined by corporations. I'm saying that so you'll actually listen to what I have to say next. Suck it up. Things are going to go different. Be excited for new titles and projects in this Star Wars universe, and don't immediately lambast them because you're afraid it's going to be different from what you got originally. For people who desperately want to get away from the Skywalker saga, you really love getting the same damn story. So please, with this new movie with Rey, be excited for what they can do, not what they might mess up. Please.
As the representative of Generation X, we just voted. We don't care what you think.